we really need to talk about this name thing because, like, if we're gonna start, we're like getting close to like getting ready to pitch towards investors, but we need some money. We're like, people need a name. Like they want to know like conceptually what it's gonna look like. We don't know what the space looks like yet, or so like you gotta give them something. And I was like, what do you guys think about Our Town? And my wife and Pat hated it. They were like, it's so generic. They're like, it's awful. And I was like, okay. And I don't think I'd like thrown a single name out there, but there was like a list of some stuff that we had agreed we didn't really like from other people. And I was like, kind of that vulnerable moment where you like throw it out there. And I was hoping for like, well, tell me a little more. And it was the worst. So it was like, no. And they were both so immediate and they agreed they didn't like it.
Welcome back to Brew That Podcast. I'm your host, Richie Tevlin, joined as always by Evan Blum.
Hello.
And tonight we have the long overdue Rob Tarves from Our Town Brewery, brewery in Lancaster and Philadelphia.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. Thank you for bringing some beer. And so I think we're all drinking the Pilsner right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
So we'll get into you and Our Town, but can we talk about the beer first before we start drinking it?
Sure.
Just the Pilsner?
Yeah.
So 5% house Pilsner. I see it's kind of like unfiltered. I like Pilsners like that.
Yeah. I stopped. One, we don't have, this is 10-barrel system. We don't have filtered. Also, we were using some findings on it, and I just felt like it was pulling out like a little of that, final 0.5%, when you're like, you're drinking tank pours of beers.
No, this is very hoppy and it's really nice.
Yeah, so I feel like it lost a little of that when it would brighten up the whole. So we're like, let's just leave it. Like if it doesn't touch it, I wouldn't even call it haze, but if it's like, it doesn't look like a beer from Vic.
Yeah, it's not hazy. It's just not perfectly bright. But like all the lagers I put out recently are kind of all like this. It's like I like them kind of like unfiltered like Zwickel beers.
Yeah, a touch of like rusticity. I don't know. I just feel like they just feel a little more like raw, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I like them that way. And so it's like I think we can get away with it. We do small runs and small packaging, kind of keep our hands on stuff. So not worried about it.
Nice. So you guys are located in Lancaster. I know you guys launched like right during the pandemic, right? Or right before the pandemic?
Yeah. We opened September of 2020, which was interesting. Yeah. So the build out was like 80% done in March when everything shut down. So, we had all these people that were like, why would you guys open a business during the pandemic? Like, because the bar was already built, the tanks were in, the loans were signed. Like, lease was signed, you got to go, man. Everybody wanted to get paid back. So it was time to open. But
also immediately after everything kind of opened back up, it was party time. So
yeah, it was fun. It was weird though, because we didn't get a chance. It was actually the other beer I brought, like Press On. We didn't get a chance to have like a grand opening, if you will, because like the 25% occupancy rules.
Oh yeah.
So our brewery, the space is big. It's 6,000 square feet. Fire code says we can have 240 people in there. I've never seen more than like 120 were packed.
Yeah.
And so we could have, 60 people in, and that included staff. So we had like space all the tables out, the 7-foot rule, all that stuff. So we knew we couldn't like have a normal opening that like, I went to all my buddies' breweries when they opened and stuff like that. Just the place is jammed. So I always joke that we had like a line the whole way down the block, and it's because everyone was 6 feet apart.
It's nice. I'm assuming this is the first kind of bar taproom you've owned or managed.
Yeah.
So it's probably nice to kind of eat, like, you kind of got the training wheels on to start off, like where it's like you're forced to kind of be limited.
Yeah. So especially with food.
Yeah.
Like when you have a kitchen, it's kind of like, I've worked in restaurants since I was 15 years old, and breweries, for 15 years. But it was like when it's yours, and like the first tickets print through and everything. Instead of having 120 people, we had like 35.
Yeah.
It was like even when we were busy and full, it was like we got this. It's all right. Nice. But yeah, so we actually put out Press On as like we knew we couldn't do anything like a big, like no ribbon cutting, huge, pack the place. So we brewed a beer at a different brewery. We made a 15-barrel batch, and we canned every single drop of it. So we had 150 cases of that beer, and we sold it on the sidewalk in like mid-July, like 2 months before we opened, and we sold out of it in 2 hours. It was really cool. It was just kind of, I think people were like, they needed something to be excited about.
Yeah.
Hence the name was kind of just like, hey, let's just like do something fun outside. We were like jamming music. We started at 10 a.m. under just a tailgate tent in the sidewalk at our buddy's coffee shop. And he was like, yeah, you guys can be here. We pulled an expo permit the day we got our license approved. PLCB's like, what is this? And so the goal was to never make it again, but then people kept asking. So we're like,
is this the Lancaster skyline?
Yeah, that's a view. Yeah, that's like if you stand on the roof of our brewery
nice.
Towards Center City. Yeah.
So I'm looking at this Kveik yeast.
Yeah.
How's that? So what, does this get brewed in one day?
I fermented about a day and a half. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funky. I worked at a couple of breweries and we used to use that yeast a lot. And I grew to like not, we used it in IPA, we used it in like brown ale.
Really?
Because like if you had something that was malty enough, it would kind of just like cover it up. And again, you could like, I was working at a brewery, a 7-barrel system, and they just could not keep up. So like porter in 3 days.
I'm sure Evan has no idea what Kveik yeast is.
Nope.
Could you go into a little bit?
To make it like super simple, you can ferment it crazy hot, and it ferments like extremely fast. So like normal,
it's a Swedish yeast, right? It's like they found it like what 20 years ago. I'm sure people were doing stuff for ages, but
yeah, there's a bunch of different strains that I've tried, like I don't know, 7 or 8 of them, and I feel like they all just eventually mutate to like that.
Yeah,
but it kind of brings a little bit of like acidity and tartness, which I've grown to like not like in other styles. Like I've tried it in wheat beers. I've tried it in like lower alcohol, like session IPA type things. We used to make like petite IPAs, and they just get kind of like tart to a point that's like confusing. Mm-hmm. Like we put them into competition and people are like, is this infected? And you're like, it's not. No, it's not at all. But it is like, it almost has like that like orange juice, like tartness to it.
I think you need some of the super hazy IPAs. If you make them use like the Philly sour yeast or add like a little bit of like citric acid or lactic acid to it. To me, they taste a little bit better. Not to the point where they're sour, but where it has like a little bit of acidity, because it makes it taste fruity. Like it literally tastes like there's fruit in it.
Yeah, it just brightens it up. Yeah. So yeah, I think it works in there, and it's Citra Mosaic, so it's very like home run hops.
Nice.
And so I think it works in there. And again, we would try like some IPAs with some different hops that, you know, were just a little less crowd pleasing. I feel like the yeast would come through a little more. I have a couple guys locally that like bust my balls about that. They're like, you use Voss in that? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, I stopped using that. I'm like, yeah, I only use it in one beer now. So, which is a bummer because as soon as we brew it, it goes down the drain. Cause
is that what you can't rebrew with it?
You can.
It happens so quick.
It happens so fast that like if you kept the yeast alive, you would have like a tap list full of Kveik beers.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's Voss beer, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And where do you guys can just buy it from someplace, or you grow it up, or like how does it? Is it pretty resilient where you just kind of like toss it in and it just kind of goes?
One, it's nuts. It likes underpitch. It likes like no oxygen. I fermented at 98 degrees. So the door of the tent, it's just so funky. Like right next to it, you have like pills fermenting at like 50 degrees, and the door feels cold, and you're just like, this nice slow cold. It's like so romantic. And then you're like next to it, you feel it. It just feels like a person, you know. It just feels like hot, so like how it's warm, and you're like, ugh, you know. Actually the brewery that we made press on at before we opened, the guy called me and was like, hey, I'm really sorry, I'm not sure what happened, but it's not good, we're gonna have to make it again. And I was like, nope, it's really weird until you dry hop it. It's funky. Just wait till we dry hop it. And he's like, you sure you want to put like, you know, this is like a lot of hops. I think we put like whatever, it was like 60 some pounds of hop. He's like, we're going to put all that in there in case. I'm like, trust me, it's funky, dry hop it, and it'll just like, it rounds out, man. It's all good.
Do you active dry hop it, or is it so fast that you don't even have an option to do it? It's almost like once it starts active, then it's like, it's basically done.
We used to try that at the brewery I worked at prior at Mad Chef. We would try to like catch it at like, you know, 5 or 6 Play-Doh, and now it's just like, we couldn't even like catch it because it just goes so fast.
Yeah,
so
it's like, all right. Next day, it's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Terminal.
And it produces like no diacetyl either, which is awesome. So we were able to like ferment it in 2 days. And we have 6 fermenters, so it's not like I need to be doing it it's just more like, while I don't necessarily think that like all hazy IPA should use that yeast, that beer is like needs to be brewed with that yeast in my opinion. You know,
cool, yeah.
If I was like, oh no, we use like LA3 on it now or something like that, it just wouldn't be the same beer.
Yeah.
So we've done like other hazy stuff, but I like it for that. So no, I'll just let it fall, and then it's like still sitting in the 80s. It's like still like warm. It's just done fermenting and falling. So I'll get it down to like 70 degrees.
How does it like flocculate out? Is it pretty good to drop out, or
Yeah. No, it's wild. Yeah, that's how
I guess because there's no hops in it either. It's just it's just yeast and
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah, we do like about a half pound per barrel in the whirlpool, and then just send it over. Done some flowable on it. That's kind of cool, but yeah, there's not a whole lot in it. So it flocks out really hard, and it's really easy to crawl. Like, it's the best as far as just like use. Like, it's so easy to work with.
Yeah.
It's, like lager yeast or like some English strain or whatever. People are like, oh, it's finicky or Kolsch yeast. I can't get it to crop. You can get like just way more yeast than you would ever need out of that. And I've run it like 20, 25 gens. No problems. Which is
wow.
But again, I don't want that much beer with that yeast in my draft. So
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I started pairing it back and pairing it back.
You start making new styles just so you can use the yeast.
Yeah. I use it to ferment our seltzer too, but we make seltzer like once or twice a year. It's just so it's not not enough to keep the yeast alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of times I'll just hit up a couple other guys in the area. So I'll just be like, hey man, I'm dumping like Gen 2 Voss. Does anybody want some yeast? And there's a guy at the street who usually takes it. So at least gets to live on.
Yeah. So going back to Mad Chef, can we talk about a little bit about your background and your history kind of in the industry before Our Town?
Yeah, sure.
So I did wear Penn State shirt.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. A mess this year. So when I was in state college, I just got out of Penn State, and you're like getting ready to start paying your loans back, and you're supposed to get the job for the degree that all that.
What'd you go for?
Environmental ed. Okay. So I was working with like school age kids in like outdoor classrooms essentially. So I was doing shows where I was showing off like hawks and eagles and snakes and turtles, and it was
cool stuff.
And like, so I was doing that and I liked it, and I feel like I was pretty good at it. And then I was like homebrewing a lot. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, like these don't, like, some people were like, oh, just find a way to, it's like, no, those don't, like, working with like kindergartners at like a nature center and beer are not really. Now, the people that I worked with at the nature centers were huge. They were actually like really important, like introducing me to like the local beer scene.
That's how the guys from Attic.
No, actually, I don't. Never met him.
So the owner of Attic,
Laura and Todd.
Todd is, I think, still a park ranger. But I think how they got into craft beer was like all the park rangers were into craft beer and home brewing.
Yeah, and I think it's a really, it's like that movement of like local was really important. And a lot of the breweries, this would have been like 2009, like had really good food with like where they were working with the grain was going to the farmer, eating the beef back, and like local greens. And so I think I had a lot of like, there's a lot of cross up. But so the one brewery in the area I worked at Otto's.
Otto's, the best buffalo chicken mac and cheese I've ever had in my entire life. And the beer was amazing. They had like great, amazing pub ales, but their buffalo chicken mac and cheese might be my favorite meal ever.
They used to have
College?
Yeah. They used to have these smoked chicken thighs that were unreal. Talk about like a different time with different pricing. Their stuff's actually still really cheap. You go in there, it's still like $5 for like 20-ounce pints of like 7.5% IPA. You guys know you have to raise your prices. Have you seen your invoice? But they had these smoked chicken thighs. You get 3 smoked chicken thighs for $5, and it came with like celery and ranch, and it was like a wing sauce. Like,
I miss college prices.
I was like, what is this? And when I worked there, it was like employee discounts, so I get it for like $2.50.
Damn.
But so I was bartending at Otto's, and I was just like begging the guys in the brewery. I was like, hey man, because they would give me yeast for home brewing and stuff like that, or like, hey, like you should try this hop. Like we got a really good, bag of Citra. You should like take 1 ounce for your homebrew batch or whatever. And the one guy, Nick, was doing it. I was like, hey man, you guys ever like need help? I got, 1 day a week I'd work for free. And they were just like, no. So I was at a beer festival, and I asked Tim from Elk Creek Café. They were like 25 minutes outside of town, Millheim. I was like, hey man, like any chance you would need somebody? And I was like half in the bag. I'm on like my 29 3-ounce beer at this beer. And he was like, 8 a.m. Monday morning, show up with rubber boots. And I was like, you betcha. And so I like went to Walmart and spent $20 on like the cheapest, crappiest pair of rubber boots, and went to his brewery like all scared. I was like, I don't know anything. And I didn't even know what he was asking me. He's like, I'm going to show you how to use our keg washer. And I'm going to have you wash keg. He had built it. It was really manual, and you had to like valve every single piece. Like it wasn't like press the button. And so it took up like the whole brewery. And he's like, on Mondays, I need my kegs washed, but I also have all this crap to do. I have to pay bills. I have to pay taxes. I have to do inventory. I have to like do the scheduling for the bar staff and all this stuff. So I can't do it all. And I was like, all right. And so he's like, every hour that you put in washing kegs, I'll let you follow me around for an hour and you can ask me anything you want. And he was like a pretty private guy. Like he wasn't super social. He was like, I was pretty out of his, I think, zone. But I think he was like this small 7-barrel brewery kitchen. And he was like, I don't have any money to pay this guy. So it was worked totally for free. And so I would like wash kegs, and the next day he'd be like, hey, I'm like going to filter a beer. Do you want to see that? And I was like, sure. Or hey, I'm going to brew this day. Do you want to see that? Or transfer beer, clean tanks. So I literally had like a notepad, and I just stood behind and I asked him questions. I would draw pictures of stuff so I wouldn't forget it.
You were in college at this time?
No, I just graduated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you from there? Like you stayed in State College?
I grew up in Lewisburg, where like Bucknell is. Like an hour. So it was like an hour from State College.
Yeah.
In fact, Millheim was like halfway home.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so I like learned enough stuff where I was like half valuable to him. So he started paying me in cash, which I didn't know, but it was like, I think cash, like not from the business, but it was just from him personally, because he was like, I was helping him out. And then he'd be like, hey man, like, what do you want in your 6 tons?
Dude, you're not on our insurance. You break your leg.
Right. That's what I was like, no, I'm supposed to tell a story too. It was so fucking long ago. It's like, but, and then he'd fill a 6 till. So he'd be like, what do you want? I can give you like brown ale, pale ale, or like Kolsch this week. I'm like, all right, so take pale ale. Put it next to the kegerator next door, like homebrew keg we had made, and like the envelope of cash, which like wasn't much, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And still working at Otto's and stuff at the time. And then the day that he was going to offer me like an actual job after like 6-7 months, my wife got into grad school in Millersville. And it was the classic, like, I have good news. Me too. Oh. And I was like, you go first. And she told me, I'm like, that sounds more promising. Let's move to Lancaster. So I told Tim I couldn't take the job, and we moved to Lancaster. I got a job at Lancaster Brewing Company. So I was there for like a month and a half, maybe, something like that. I'd applied there in Springhouse at the same time. Springhouse was like tiny, back in a bar. And
Lancaster Brewing Company was like every other beer they're making the milk stout, because that's the only beer I've ever had from them.
They make that strawberry wheat at the time.
Okay, yep.
They're making Hop Hog, which is like this big 7%.
I've seen that. I've never had it before.
Yeah. It's changed a lot. In fact, they have a new head brewer now. But when I was there, it was Bill Moore, super nice dude, and he was great. I just like got hired as a brewer, and then like the head brewer was like, just so you know, we don't need you on the brew deck at all. And I was like, oh, why do you hire me? He's like, he's just training you out here, so you're cross-trained. You're going to be in the warehouse making mix packs, like 4 out of 5 days a week. I was like, what? Like just manually putting 6 of each beer. And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I cannot do that. And like within days of him telling me that, Springhouse was like, hey, by the way, I don't know, I missed your email. We just, did you want a job still? And I was like, oh my God, yes. I went over. They had like a 10-barrel system, one brewer, and it was like, you'll be brewing and delivering kegs and just a little bit of everything, kind of a classic brew pub job. And I was like, that sounds better than the mix pack thing.
I wasn't doing just mix packs, but it took me 6 years to get into the brew house. I was strictly cold side. I just kept chasing around.
Where was that at?
Well, I actually started at Stable 12, and then I went down to Flying Dog in Maryland, and then up to Victory.
I knew you were at Stable 12 at Victory. I didn't know you were a Flying Dog.
I was there for 2.5 years, right after college.
Okay.
And then the first time I was at Victory, I just never, they couldn't get me up there. It was just like trying to cross-train people. And like, I was like, everybody wanted to get up there. So then I left to get in the brew house, was why I left to then go to Philadelphia Brewing. But it was like, that's like everyone's kind of trying to chase to get into the brew house. So it's tough. If you find a spot, you got to take it.
Yeah. So I did. And then, so I was at Springhouse for like 5 years. So they were in like.
That's in Lancaster also?
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So then they moved, I want to say like about 4 years in or so, like they moved to a really big facility with 20-barrel brew house and like 100-barrel fermenters.
Nice.
And I just like, that didn't.
You don't like that?
No, I didn't love it. And again, because like, it was funny. Then I was pretty much tasked with like only being on the brew deck. And I felt really, I felt kind of bad almost. The guys were like, we didn't have a canning line, but we were bringing in mobile crews and doing like, 1,000 cases on a Tuesday and 1,000 cases on a Wednesday on like a 4-head wild. And it was just like, and so my guys were back there like running the canning line. They're like, oh, just keep, I don't know.
And brewing on the 20-barrel system with the 100-barrel tanks is a lot different than like a 7-barrel pub system.
We were just making the same beer over and over again too.
Yeah.
Like, when it was like time to make pumpkin ale, it was like, all right, for like 5 weeks, I'm like staring at the same color, the same recipe, same smells, And it wasn't that it was like bad. It was just more like, all right, I don't. And at that time, I was like, we had just started to write the business plan for Our Town, and so I was like,
Yeah. When was this? What year?
2017.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I think I want to get out of here and just go like do something smaller, and yeah, so I left there like.
You said we were writing the business plan. You and other Rob.
Yeah, yeah. So we were.
How long have you known other Rob for? And how long has this been kind of like a plan for you guys to do this together?
Yeah. So
who is other Rob? I want to keep from other Rob, but
his last name is Pats.
okay,
Rob
Pats.
Pats.
Yeah,
That's why
I don't know if I have met him before. I know I came to you guys opening. I don't know in Philly, but I don't know if he was there or not.
Yeah, he was there.
Okay.
So I've known him since we were probably like 6 or 7 years old.
Okay, all right. So a little
we
while.
grew up together. Yeah, like our dad's like coached.
You guys are like Bill and Ron. Like met on a school bus.
Yeah, so we did that, and then went to school, high school, and then we both went to Penn State. And it was kind of like right after we graduated. We always like when we were in school, when we were homebrewing a ton. It was like, yeah, we're gonna open a brewery someday, and like our buddy who did design work would like make renderings of what the bar was gonna look like, and we would like he would even make like labels for our bottles and stuff like that. Like for the holidays, we like gave out gifts of all the like. So it was like and I know a lot of people do that, but it was just like it was really fun. So you're starting to like see this kind of and it's like
I planted the seeds.
Yeah, and but then it was like, all right, we're 22 years old. We have absolutely no idea what the hell we're doing. We definitely should not open a brewery right now. We want to, and so it was like 10 years later. So like,
Dude, I feel almost the opposite sometimes. Like now that I'm just getting started now, I'm like, damn, like I spent 10 years trying to learn how to brew, and then I went to open up a brewery, and it was just like, I'm not doing a lot of the stuff that I learned what to do, like just running a business is so different that sometimes I think back, like, what if I had done it just when I was 22? And I don't know if I
think your model's really different too, though. Cause like,
but not just the model. It's like, yeah, like I think it does help me a lot. And maybe it's just like, I'm not running into issues because like they're not issues for me. But I don't know. I think it would have been different. I don't know many people that start breweries when they're 22, and maybe, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think about that sometimes.
Sometimes I think about, cause there was like, just when you look at the trajectory of like the industry, there were some years there that I'm like, man, maybe I should have been a little more reckless.
Yeah.
Cause we were like super paid, and we just looked for a building for like 2 years. And
was he in Lancaster at the time also?
No, he was actually he was in Philly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, and he was working in like a good chunk of that 10 years. Like I was working at like breweries for like $9 and $10 an hour. I was bust his balls, and he was like working in finance, like making decent money. Hey, you want to go do something on the weekend? I'm like, no, I can't fucking afford it. Remember, I'm working this shitty job so we can open a brewery. But no, it was cool. And I met, like a ton, as you do, you meet like a ton of people, like your best friends. And, and I think I did learn a lot. I was never reckless with like other people's businesses, but it is interesting to be like, all right, I would have done this. The ownership said to do that. I'm going to listen to them, but I'm going to think about like what would have happened.
Yeah.
Like, would the customer probably approve it about the way I would have done it? Just kind of like quietly like watching the like,
yeah, it's like lemonade
things
stand.
play out. Yeah. But yeah, then to get to your point though, it's like looking back, like I knew enough about brewing, I think, to open well before then. But like I'm still learning stuff constantly about just like managing people and like, like I just went to renew our brewer's license for the year. And the guy was like, "Oh, you're missing like some of your monthly reports for like they denied the license."
I got that too, and it was like basically everyone got it all at the same time this year, so it wasn't just you guys.
Oh, I miss a couple every year because there's like no way to see what months. If you, like talk about the bad website, it's just like if you like go on, you're like, oh, okay, like you should be able to see like, oh, reports submitted, and you'd be like, oh, there's September, November. I missed October. There's like no way to see the back end. So if you do a report, you can't even see that you submitted it. Anyways, so I went on, and every year they're like, oh, you missed May and November or whatever. This year the guy was like, from October 24 to October 25. And I was like, yeah, just let me know which ones I missed. He's like, you missed October 24 to October. You didn't do any of them. So I was like, I don't know. Sometimes it's stuff like that where you're just like, damn it, like small business shit where you're just like trying to keep it all together. And like, it's not just about, like I wish I could just solely focus on just like making beer. But it's just not realistic.
I don't think that ever, like, you always strive to then, like, all right, if I just get to this point, I can just focus on the beer, but it just never happens.
That's how it feels. Yeah. We're like about 5 years in, and I'm like, damn it. There's certain days where I'm like, why am I like moving furniture around and like, or just doing these like taps where I'm like, that was 9 hours. And like, I didn't even like put my boots on once.
Yeah.
No good. No good.
Hey, brewery or small business owner, are you tired of navigating complex brewery accounting and taxes on your own? Staying up late working on financials and getting your finances in order after a whole workday? At the Beer Accountant, they understand the unique financial challenges of the craft brewing industry. They're a CPA dedicated to helping breweries like yours thrive, with services ranging from qualified bookkeeping, business tax prep, to strategic financial planning. Stop wasting time on spreadsheets and focus on what you do best: making great beer and running a small business, servicing over 50 breweries in 4 states. So if you own a brewery or small business, stop overpaying for reactive support and start being proactive with the Beer Accountant. Don't brew that IPA without this CPA. Visit beeraccountant.com to learn how their specialized expertise can help your brewery grow, profit, and succeed.
What made you open up in Lancaster opposed to Philly if your partner, other Rob, was out in Philly at that point too? Just being in the Lancaster scene for so long, maybe?
Well, what's funny is when I was at Springhouse, I had told myself that we'd never open in Lancaster.
Really?
I think because I was so like, at the time, I was just like such good friends with the ownership there that if, to me, it almost would have felt like some like backstab.
Yeah.
I don't know. They, at the time too, there was just a lot less breweries. So when we first started like thinking about doing this, like imagine like just brewery count in Pennsylvania from like 20,
It's probably double.
12 to 2020, like those 8 years from like when I moved to Lancaster to like, it was just, and in the scene, I mean, we have a Brewers Guild in Lancaster County, and there's 30, I think there's 30 breweries in the guild. And almost all of them are actual breweries. Like I think there's like 1 or 2 that are tap rooms.
Yeah.
But they're almost all breweries. Like a lot of those guys opened in those like mid to late teens. So it went from thinking like, well, Lancaster can't possibly support another brewery to like, okay, I think that what we have in mind and like what our vision is actually not really getting done here.
Yeah.
Like LBC, like Lancaster Brewing Company, they're just, they're pretty like decent sized brewery that like they distribute in like 6 or 7 states. Springhouse is really trying to play a like a more of a distribution minded thing. I don't know. And so it just felt like no one was doing, even then we have Iron Hill there too. But I was like, I don't think anyone's doing like more of just like an authentic, like really like community first looking brewery that's just like more of this like neighborhood spot.
Were you guys distributing? Because you guys self-distribute, right?
We self-distribute in Lancaster and half attempted down here a little bit.
But when you first started, were you distributing or was it all through the tap room?
Talk about being naive. It was, my goal was all through the tap room, and I was like, we'll sell a couple kegs for marketing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shit, we have a lot of beer here, and I can make way more beer than I'm making, so let's go sell this anywhere. Yeah, so it was like, for a couple of years, just me in the back of my Ford Escape. It was like, you can still see like the keg ring. I can fit 3 half barrels in the hand truck. The back of the headrest has like a red, it's just from like the hand truck sitting there just rubbing the paint on.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, it's like, I don't know, we were probably like maybe 20, 25 accounts in Lancaster that like order with some regularity. Either places I worked or good friends or something like that, or just, nice accounts that like local product. And so, yeah, it's not a huge volume play, but it all helps.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I don't like talking about the names because every beer podcast is always like, the big question is like, tell me about how you named it. But like, you guys have been playing this brewery for a while. Like when did like kind of the marketing and the branding and the name
of the brewery?
Yeah. I mean, you guys have been planning and like kind of ideating this. Did that come out in college or was it after that?
No, it was when we were driving around doing a competition analysis, actually.
Okay.
So
interesting.
That's business part. Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was also just like a really fun.
So you guys were day drinking?
Yeah. My business partner was not with his wife at the time. He was just like, so it was me and Rob and then my wife, Mallory. We were just driving around. So we went to like Springhouse and got like, flight and probably like some fries or something like that. And then went to Lancaster Brewing Companies. And we were just like, I already had all the specs on them, like how many barrels a year they make, because I knew guys what their square footage was, what their average price per pint was. We're just doing this whole breakdown. It's part of the business plan. And we were driving in between Lancaster Brewing Company, the next spot, because I don't remember where we were at. And I was like, we really need to talk about this name thing, because like if we're gonna start, we're like getting close to like getting ready to pitch towards investors. Like we need some money. We're like, people need a name. Like they want to know like conceptually what it's gonna look like. We don't know what the space looks like yet, or so like you gotta give them something. And I was like, what do you guys think about Our Town? And my wife and Pat hated it. They were like, it's so generic. They're like, it's awful. And I was like, okay. And I don't think I'd like thrown a single name out there. Like I was like, there was like a whole list of names we'd gotten from some other people that were helping out with some things with the business plan, stuff like that. And like, I didn't like a lot of them. But there was like a list of some stuff that we had agreed we didn't really like from other people. And I was like, kind of that vulnerable moment where you like throw it out there. And I was hoping for like, well, tell me a little more. And it was the worst. So it was like, no. And they were both so immediate and they agreed they didn't like it. And I was like, okay.
Is that the first one you said too?
If I recall correctly, it was literally like the first thing that I like personally threw out there. Yeah. Because we had worked with some guys to help like with the business plan formation, and they were like, hey, by the way, like we wanted to just give you a little motivation. So they had thrown like 5 or 6 names out. They were like, Lancaster was the capital of the U.S. for one day. What about one day brewing? And I was like, there was sometimes
you got the Kavike.
Yeah, one day. There you go. And then I think it was like later that day or the next day or whatever. They're like, what the hell do you even mean with that? What do you mean Our Town? I'm like, well, I kind of like it as like almost like a built-in mission statement too. I was like, I really want this thing to be like community first and like really driven by like our neighbors, our neighborhood, and like, using local coffee in our beers, and bringing in like local proteins and food when we can, and doing charitable projects to like kick back to our community, and like just really focus, because that's what when we were in State College, that's what like at Otto's they were so good at that. And it wasn't like this big marketing plan. It's just who they were. They just lived there. So they were like, yeah, of course I would do this. And it's pretty common in the brewing industry, but I just wanted to make sure it wasn't anything that we would lose.
Also, Our Town, when you moved to Philly, like it could be Our Town there. I said the same thing when they brewed out. Like brewed out is like where's brewed out? Like,
yeah.
Brewed out in Philly, but like it could also be like wherever you're at is just like.
Yeah, and that wasn't really like the plan. But then when people were like, when we kicked other people, like, that'd be great. Then if you ever expand, then you have it. I'm like, I hadn't actually thought about that. But it was just more of almost like, built in, like, kind of.
You're going to change the name like our state, our region.
We've had a couple people that have busted our balls about that. And like, went into this place, thought the beer was good, staff was cool, vibes neat. They're like, I don't know about Our Town. They're from Lancaster. I was like, all right. 4 stars on Google.
So did you guys have design experience or like designing the tap room, or like kind of how, because that's like a big undertaking. Like I have some creative people in my life now, but like I had no idea kind of like how to approach kind of putting everything together.
The brewery or the Philly tap room?
I did the brand, the tap room, the Philly tap room, any of it. Like, does one of you guys have like kind of like the creative eye, or
no, like just not at all. Like Rob's very black and white. He's a finance dude.
Yeah.
And like I know how to make beer. Like I'm really not great at anything besides.
Yeah.
Let's kind of that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I think just being.
I think that's half the battle,
But so our landlord in Lancaster is an interior designer, and
there you go.
So is my older sister, and then one of our investors owns a digital marketing company. So he did the brands. He did like a full brand guide for us with like colors and logos and like watermarks and what not to do with the brand, which I think we fucked up a couple times on that.
Everything's a learning process.
Yeah. I think there's some, like, I think the first time we like sidestepped it, he was like, what the hell is this? And I was like, what? He's like, did you not read the brand? I'm like, I did. I don't know. We just want to try out a different color. He's like, no different color. This one, this green. I was like, all right, shit.
I'll post some stuff on Instagram sometimes, and I'll just get like a call or text from Monica, and she'll be like, what the fuck is this? And I'm being like,
what, no good?
No good. And it's just like, I will be looking like, yeah, that is pretty bad. Like,
it's hard when you just hit it though. Yeah, that's what, even with like, we didn't can when we first opened. It was just crowlers. We didn't can for the first like year and a half, I think, something like that. So we didn't have like a lot of like deliverable like design stuff.
Yeah.
So these were the first 2 beers we did can. And So we worked with Josh, our one investor at the digital market. We worked with him, and he brought in a designer to make sure that there was like some cohesiveness to like what we were doing. And he really
Smells super hoppy, by the way. It's like super fresh hoppy. It's good.
nice. Yeah, it's. I'm trying to think. We have like some canning more of that tomorrow. So I was like, how fresh is that? I think it's only about a month.
No, it's good.
And yeah, and so we did some things, but then since then we've made like we probably canned like 60 other beers, and some of the labels are just like really off the wall and like rather off brand if you really look at them. Like not very unlike your stuff.
Yeah, what's the little IPA, the small
While you wait,
Yeah. What's the style do you call it?
almost
IPA, and that's 2.9%,
2.7.
2.7%.
Yeah,
Which I
I'm
think
so
that's-
pissed I didn't bring it. I swear to God, it's like rolling around in the van right now. It's too dark out there. I was reading.
I love that idea. Like, have you seen like that sell really well? Is this the first time you're running it, or?
I made a similar concept like a couple of years ago. And one, I don't think we like delivered it very well. Like we didn't like explain it very well. We didn't package it at all because we weren't canning. And I just got nervous about it. So we just took it to, we were doing this like farm festival. We were just blowing through beer. So I just took like the other half of the batch out there and just blasted through the rest of it. Cause I was like kind of freaked out for it to age. And I don't know. I was just a little like nervous about the whole thing. And then I was on a podcast with Augie from Carton, and I was telling him about the concept. It just popped up somehow. He was like, that is awesome. And I was like, yeah, I haven't really, he's like, make it again. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, actually, yeah, like that'd be fun. Like I have a 5 and a 7-year-old. It's like, I love drinking beer, but it's like, I have to like be aware of myself, you know? So I drink like 4, I don't know, Founders all day, or like Trogue Sunshine pills are like constantly in my fridge.
Yeah. I like getting drunk, but I just like drinking, you know? And it's like
totally.
Sometimes I just like want to be consuming stuff that'll still like get me drunk, but like not like
Eventually.
Not trashed.
Yeah. It's like I like the flavor of higher alcohol beer a lot. I just like I just can't like get after it like that.
I drink it slower, like when it gets up, like the IPAs get up to like 7 or 8%. It's just like I'm just sipping on them slower, and it's not that I'm not trying to get drunk. It's just like it's got a lot of flavor to it. Sometimes I just like want something that's like not just like a light lager, but it has some character to it. But it's not like just gonna sit on my tongue like it's more approachable.
I just drink so much 4% beer. I just took a 12-pack of Perpetual to a friend's house a couple months ago. I was absolutely hammered. And I was like, what the fuck happened here? And I was like, Perpetual is like 7 something.
It was sneaky.
Yeah, and I was, it's like refreshing, and it's bitter. So you just kind of keep going. And it was cold out. We were like, had a fire in the backyard and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So that beer is like fun because it's like, I just don't know if there's a market for it or not. We've only had it out for like maybe 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay.
So we have it at our Philly tapper, and we have it at the brewery, obviously. The cans are actually moving with like a decent clip, but I don't know if that's people just buying it the first time. You know what I mean?
Well, I do like the cans. Like it's very cool artwork on it.
Yeah, really simple.
And it's a little bit different. And, I guess you'll find out like once the second batch comes, if they do the reorder,
Yeah. There's a guy on the street, a couple miles away from us, as a brewery, and he just put out a 2.0%, like little like Citra IPA kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Mark, I got to try this. So I drove up there on Monday before that fucking Eagles game. And I was like, let's try this thing out. So I brought ours, we tried it. And I was like, how much did you make? He's like, oh, I made it on my Sabco. I made 1 keg of it. And I was like, oh. He's like, how much did you make? I was like, 10 barrels, dude. I was like, it's a lot of beer for us. I was like, yeah, I have 14 halves, like 30 some cases. I have a lot of this. He's like, oh my God, I was afraid to make a keg. He's like, I think everyone's trying it right now, but I don't know if they're going to have a second one. I don't know if they're going to like come back next week. So it's like kind of unknown. It's like, I know there's people that love session beer, and I know there's a growing, albeit tiny, a growing market of people that drink NA beer. Not you, but I don't know about 2% beer. Like, you have to drink a shit ton of it to get.
There's just dad beer, dad strength beer. It's just on Shark Tank. I think it's out of Virginia or something, and it just started.
Is it literally called dad beer?
It's called dad beer, dad strength beer, or dad bod or something.
But it's 2 different small beer companies. I think one's in the UK, one's in Colorado.
This one's out of Virginia, and they were just on Shark Tank. They got a bunch of attention on social, I guess, on TV and like social media and stuff. But I think it's like 2.5% or 3%. But I've not had it yet.
And they do one thing. It's like kind of a macro thing they're trying to do.
Yeah, they're trying to be like kind of the new Athletic, where it's like they're trying to make a new segment out of it, where it's like the 2 to 3% beer.
Interesting.
It's fun, yeah, because it's like, and I don't know if there's a market for it or not yet, to be honest. People that have tried it, I think, like it. It's light as you'd imagine. Like just it has.
Also, I don't know if dad strength beer is the right term, because my dad drinks high ABV beer, and all the hipster Gen Z people I know are the ones drinking the non-alcoholic low ABV beer. It should be called Gen Z beer, not dad strength beer.
I fully agree with that. Fully agree with that.
Yeah, I didn't know what to call it, to be honest. Yeah, because I was like,
what do you call it? Almost IPA?
Yeah, almost IPA.
I mean, it kind of rolls off the tongue. It's fun, and people are
It's
like,
kinda fun.
"Wait, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean?" It's like, they want to kind of figure out what it is.
Yeah, and we've sampled it a bit. Like the Stones crew has taken it out and done some. They're like, "Oh, the bar managers are digging it."
Yeah,
And I'm like, did they buy it? And I think that they're probably like a little nervous because like even if the bar manager wants to buy it, they're like, I got to sell 120 pints of this. Like, do our customers want it? So, it's again, Stone's like just got it in.
because it's different. You almost have to find an account and then like do an event there or something.
Yeah.
You know, might be like promoted as like a, you know, like I just had this Run Club beer that came out, and it was like, you know, doing something that like we had like run clubs do it, so it was like a bunch of healthy people. So I mean, I don't know,
bunch of healthy.
well, then they drink a lot. I didn't realize how much they drank.
Those run clubs are drinkers, man.
Dude,
One in Lancaster is 400 people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what,
Insane.
Common, right?
Yeah.
You were telling me about that before.
It's wild, man.
Yeah, I think next year I'm going to do Run Club 2 with other Run Clubs and just like kind of switch with the hops on it, because
cool.
It got a lot more positive feedback than I thought. It was just kind of fun to do. But the clubs are fun, like kind of partnering with them. But I think that you could do something cool with that, where like, you know, find a specific thing for this beer, because it's just different. You know, I didn't even think about that. That like then the bar managers themselves are like, what am I supposed to do with this? Because what's a Guinness? A Guinness is 4%, and that's probably the lowest ABV beer that they have.
Yeah, I legitimately. So the tough thing is, like, imagine when you're like designing a recipe for like a hazy IPA, or you're designing a recipe for like a Czech Pils or whatever it is. Like, you've had so many of those.
Yeah,
You're like, hey, I'm going to make an Irish stout. It's like, all right, cool. Like, what are you shooting for? You know, you're probably going to want to make it taste something like a Guinness.
Yeah.
'Cause you're like, it's world class. Like, I might, like, yeah, you know, I want mine to be a little less bitter, a little more this or that. You're going to make a decision, a creative decision, but like, you know where the box is. I don't think there is a box for this beer that I just made.
So what is your box? Like, what hops did you use, and like kind of what's the bitterness, and like can you talk about the recipe a little bit?
Yeah, so I tried to build it up with some things that wouldn't make it taste like water. So I was so worried that like once you get below 4%, I was like, I think this is going to be really watery.
Yeah.
So I used, I usually use like Pilsner malt in a lot of IPAs. So I used like a pale malt, just had a little more character. And then I put in like chit malt and flaked oats and malted oats, and just try to do some things that weren't as fermentable and would give like some body to the beer.
Yeah.
It ultimately still ended up getting pretty dry, a little more dry than I intended. And then I only used cryo hops on it just to try to, again, like make sure it didn't get wasn't like dry and bitter and chalky and have it just be too. So I was going to dry hop it. I used cryo mosaic hops on it. I was going to just throw a little bit of Citra in just to like brighten it up. And I didn't even want to put any in because I was like, I don't think this beer can handle any more hops. It's so like, you know, like flimsy from a structural side. Like, you know, it's much easier to like put a ton of hops on top of an 8% IPA.
So I was going to ask, like, how hop volume, like, because I don't really know, like how much hops goes into a low ABV IPA compared to like a higher.
When you talk about like IPAs or beers, you talk about like pounds per barrel.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know what you guys normally brew at. Mine are normally like 2 to 3.5%, depending on the price of, depending on how sexy the hops I want to use.
Yeah, what's going in there? I don't know. Press on's like almost 4 pounds a barrel. The almost IPA was like 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, like if you smell it though, like you'd be able to, like if I'm kicking myself for not bringing it. It jumps out of the glass pretty good. Like you can smell this beer from like not, you don't have to like get you can, it's very aromatic. the almost IPA is like that. Like when you pour it out, like if Richie poured one out, I'd be like, oh, I can smell that across the table. Like it's really, really bright.
This one has great
what's that?
aroma. The press on a great aroma.
Oh, thanks, dude. And the almost IPA is like pretty. It's pretty like bright and jumpy. Like it really, and it's just funky because it's very light. Like you drink it, and I really do think flavor wise, it almost is like 70% session IPA and 30% has a little of this like hop water NA beer thing going because it's just so light. It's
Have you had Easy Ringer from Victory? They don't make
Yeah.
it anymore. So
Yeah.
it's like they I'm reading it right now.
What was that?
It was a low cal IPA, and people didn't buy it because it was this weird style, but it was so good. It was less. It was 96 calories. It's less calories than like a Bud Light.
what was the alcohol in it?
It was
Isn't it threes?
4.3.
Oh, so it was in the 4 still. Okay, that's
But it's like terminal gravity was so low. It was like probably like below 1.
so it's like low carb too. and
super low
yeah.
carb, but then it was like hoppy too. But it says they used Strata, Citron, Cascade, and then they use instead of Pilsner malt, they use like Two Row Pale and Cara Pils. And it was like that was my favorite beer that they made because it was like just super drinkable, but it had like this like fresh, like a little bit citrusy, a little bit grassy, a little bit herbal, like hop note to it, and just kind of like with the just like the super light body, it kind of like all went together.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's like easy, but like at 4%, like I've had beers like that, and I love beers like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I like to drink.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like dry, clear, bitter, and like bright and citrusy, like I'm in at
Yeah.
100%. I think it was like the challenge. We like got below 4, and then didn't even hang in the 3s. Like went into the 2s. Like when I was telling my brewer buddies about it, they're like, "What did you even like? What did this like? It fermented again. It fermented out in like I don't know, like a little over a day." I came in the next day. I didn't think it was fermenting, and it was just basically done. I was like, got a gravity. I'm like, okay, I guess that's it. I just kind of fermented overnight. There wasn't much to do. But yeah, it's funky. I don't know. We'll see. By the time this actually comes out, maybe we'll have a better idea of who it's selling. Like I said, the cans are grooving. People are intrigued by.
Is that only in 12-ounce cans?
Yeah, we're switching everything to 12s actually.
That's interesting. We just had Kyler Gretz on yesterday. He's doing everything in 12s right now. 12s are really coming back, it seems like.
You just 6-packs also, 12-ounce 6-packs.
We do 12-ounce 4-packs. We'll see
Cool.
on that too.
Yeah.
It's all really new. Yeah, so we just
Pack tax?
yeah.
Cool.
We just made the switch over. Like this is the first batch of pills and press on that were in 12s. And then we did the while you wait and our light lagers in 12s. So we're like just switching into the 12s.
What about the bottles?
The stubbies?
Yeah, was that just a limited time thing, or you guys bring this back?
Only done that. Dude, it's just me in the brewery, so it's like I just need to find a day because when we do the bottles, it's just like hand bottling. It's really just laborious and slow. But I have like bottles in the basement, and I only barely
that bottle was like a gun.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's not great. It's like bringing somebody to help. Like, hey, does anybody want to stand here and like, cap these? And I just need, it needs to be someone that I actually can't just be anybody. Like, it needs to be somebody who understands, like, you got to put the cap on the foam, dude, and run it. This can't be like, just
you could fuck
one of my
with
buddies. He's going to
batch.
stand there and drink a barrel aged barley wine and then like stop looking down at the table when we're trying to cap.
Yeah, they're all like 8 ounces.
Yeah. So yeah, I've only done this with like barrel aged beers. We have like a 14% barrel aged stout and like a 13% barrel aged English barley wine. So I just did the bottles of those.
Do you do a lot of barrel aged stuff?
Not really. I like it. I think it's interesting, but again, like it moves so slowly that like on a 10 barrel system, I would like boil the shit out of it, and we would fill like 4 oak barrels. It's a lot of beer. Like,
Even me, that's like I'm in beer. I only like drinking like 4 ounces of barrel aged beer.
yeah,
It's like I like it a lot, but like I can't sit down and drink. Like 16 ounces or like like a bomber of it. To me, it's like it's a big ask to ask a customer to do that.
Well, that's why again, like when I was like first getting into brewing, like when we were packaging beers like that, it was bombers.
Yeah.
And then like when bombers went away, then we added 3 ounces and went to the 750 mils, which is 25 ounces. And I was like, this is like, you definitely need, I don't know, I'm sure somebody's going to watch this and just be like, just drink the beer, grow up. But it's like, I needed some buddies to drink that with, or I'm just going to be like, horizontal. And so I'm like, 12 ounce felt nice to me. Like I can drink one of those, and I'm like, okay, like it's a commitment, but you're like, I can drink 12 ounces of barrel by myself.
Yeah.
It's not like a night ender.
I think
750 mil is like,
yeah. I think barrel age, like you almost like want to put it in bigger bottles. Like it's like a premium product, but it makes more sense in a 12 ounce.
Yeah, and honestly, even like we just started the 12 ounce cans, and then we have like mini mugs at the brewery in the tap room now, so they're like 10 ounce. They're like 10 liters, but they're like 10 ounce, basically a 10 ounce mug. It's just like if trends are like shifting on stuff, I just want people to have what they want.
Do you guys have a Lucre tap?
We have two.
Let me ask you this. I was talking to James about this the other day from Workhorse. Do you guys get much better draft efficiency off Lucre taps?
Do you mean like do we have more pours out of a keg?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like there's a decent bit of foam like in the glass.
I think if you got 5% more out of the keg, they would pay for themselves in 1 month, 3 weeks.
Sure. And also like I don't know, like the way like a lot of different guys are like pricing their stuff, but like everything that I pour through there, actually Pils is expensive. Like we put like 50, it's a lot of, there's a lot of hops in that, but like,
yeah,
we have like right now, we have like our winter lager on the second Lucre, and it's like, I don't know, as far as like cost of ingredients go, it's like one of the cheapest beers we can make. It's like making like pub ale or like ale lager. There's like, I think there's a single pound of hops in it.
Yeah.
And like, there's a little bit extra malt, but it's like, across the bar, you're like, if I get 110 pints versus 118 or whatever, 100, it's like, but we're doing okay on that.
I know, but I think people are looking at it like this is a cool thing, but it's like, why can't you put an IPA through a Lucre faucet?
So the proper way to pour it is you'll run the first bit to the drain.
So the efficiency's worse.
It depends on what you're doing. So like, have you been up to Wishful Thinking?
Yeah.
So like Brennan has like all Lucres. I think.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's wild.
I'm pretty sure they went to the Czech Republic for their honeymoon or something to buy it.
Yeah. It's funny. You go to like the Finger Lakes and you come back with all this wine. You're like, why the hell do you get all this wine? It's like, comes back with like a draft tower. I don't know. But I know that's not how it happened. I think I had heard that like, I'm not sure if it's, but it's like dropping that out in the glassware you're using, if you're able to balance it out. Cause I mean, we've definitely had staff that like, probably on me more than anything of like not training properly, but you kind of look and it's like, you're watching, it's like, they thought it was too much foam and now they're pouring it over and they're repouring it. You're just like, oh my God, the first pour was perfect, kind of like, so, I mean, I think if you have, like, I know Human Robot does like a killer job of training their staff.
Yeah, but they say that like they only put certain beers through it, but like, why can't you put an IPA or something else through it? Like, I think the efficiency is better. You're getting more pours per, like, why would you not put all your beers through it? If it's like truly a customizable, like how much foam is coming out, then like, and the people are trained on how to pour it, then like, you should be able to put it in and save thousands of dollars, even for a small tap room, save thousands of dollars every year if they just poured all their beer through a Lucre tap.
Are you going to be putting all your beer through Lucres?
Well, the thing is, like I've been thinking about it, like like maybe it would make sense to just do it. Like I didn't want to like pay for one, but now I'm like, well, now I kind of want to do it.
I don't know. I think it's also just different. Like if you have like Pils on just like a normal faucet versus the Lucre, it's like they just taste different. I remember talking to Mike Paul from Crime and Punishment. He's just like it. Is it better or it's different? And it's like I love it the way it is now on the Lucre, and I think it is missing a bit of something, mainly texturally.
Is the proper Pils on the Lucre at at the tap room?
Yeah, we always have proper Pils on like the one Lucre, both in Lancaster and Philly, and another one. Especially in Philly, like I try to give the guys in Philly like just a ton of space to like when we open the Philly tap room, I definitely had like a vision for it that it is not right now. And I'm fine with that because like they've just put their own spin on it to like match
about that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So just to match like the vibe of the neighborhood and the staff and the culture that's there in Francisville. And it's like Francisville, Fairmont area, like that crowd, and it's like good. Like I didn't realize it, but I've become the old man brewer already. I've become the old man brewery owner that like isn't as connected. So they were like, it's got like some funky things going on. So anyways, they'll put some different stuff on the Lucre. Joe usually calls me. He's like, is that cool if we do that? I'm like, yeah, man, have fun with it. What did you just do? I usually try to make sure that if we're putting on the Lucre, we're putting it into like one of the mugs, just because like we've done beers that are in like 12 ounce. We did like a coffee porter that was like 8.5% a couple of years ago. And it made like crazy, amazing foam. And our staff likes to have like a dark beer in Lancaster. So when people want like milk pours, they're like, oh, you want chocolate or vanilla?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the dark beer or pills.
Yeah.
But like to get a nice pour in a 12-ounce glass, it was just a mess. They were like wasted beer and it was kind of floating. So I think you need like the right glass to kind of balance that like time you have to like open the valve the correct way and get the amount of foam you want and balance it. And it's a bit of a, have you poured on them before?
I've never used it.
It takes a second. Like you definitely need to waste a bunch of beer to teach someone how to use it. Because like the first bunch of times you do it, you're like, nope, no, not that. Hang on.
Well, that's why you got the almost IPA.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. They should just give us a keg of, I don't know, should make training beer that Luca gives you like a half barrel of when you buy a faucet.
Yeah, buy some, the Outlaw beer that's like basically free.
Oh my God.
I think it costs $7 a case. Well,
God.
Because right now it's like buy one, get one free.
Isn't it like $40 for a half barrel?
Yeah, I think that's buy one, get one free also. It's like one of the richest guys in Mexico, like his son started this and then like recruited some AB exec to then do marketing for it, and then they kind of like just made this like immediate nationwide push by like just making this like insane price discount. It's literally $7 a case. That's crazy.
That's wild.
It's not the best beer in the world, but it is $7. Can't beat that.
I'll just grab some Schaefer Light. I'll pay the extra $3 for some Schaefer.
So the tap room in Philly, one of my preferred spots to go as far as breweries go. I think I don't know what it is, but it might be some of like the intimate setting of. I feel like I know all your bartenders individually, and I think that's such a cool thing that I don't know if it's just not as common to other breweries to me.
Yeah, I mean it's small. Like, we have like 40 seats, and so I feel like, and even just the layout, like it's just one rectangle. Like, so I feel like when you're in, like it's pretty. It's intimate. And it's kind of like and also like Ian and Joe and Matt and like even when Ben was there and stuff. Like we've just had like cool people that have worked there that I feel like have brought. Like there's lots of people that I've worked with at restaurants and breweries and bars and everything, like that are great servers or great whatever, like that would not work for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that space is just like it requires like some personal interaction because like, it's small. But yes, they've just like charmed it up and made it really funky, like the PS2 in there. Just like sitting around, there's a couple of stools and like sitting around a whiskey barrel, and there's just like PlayStation on, and there's like a massive like life-size Chase Out League on the wall.
That was my Joe's bedroom, I believe.
Yeah.
He told me.
And there's like like Polaroids of all the like Quizzo winners and stuff. I think they're just like done things where like early on they'd be like, instead of asking a lot of like, is that all right? Can we do this? And I'm like, take ownership of this space because like it is what it is because of you guys. So just like have fun with it.
That's what you have to do. It's like no matter how nice the space is, it's like it's really like the personalities of the bartenders, the staff that like set the vibe of the brewery.
Yeah, and it's tough unless you like have like some like really, really ironed out crazy concept, like, oh, we're gonna do whatever it is, like this like taqueria with like, we got like these beers on and this plating with this crazy lighting and like it's so themed out, and we're if you're like, hey, I got this tap room, like, all right, we have like 80% of it sorted out, and then like any good bar, like it needs like kind of the knickknacks and shit to fill in. Like you need culture, you need like scratches on the bar, you need the stuff to like come in.
Yeah,
and that doesn't happen. You can't force that. And we've wrestled with that in Lancaster too. Of like, it felt really. We opened in 2020. It felt really sterile in there for a long time because sterile was good when we opened. People wanted sterile. We seriously, we got like 5-star reviews. People were like, high ceilings, very clean, only digital menus. Everything was easily to be wiped and sanitized. Loved it. Like these were like leading the charge on our Google like and Yelp reviews. And then you like get busy and your head's down and you're trying to make beer and do stuff, and then you blink and you're like, shit. We're not in the middle of the pandemic anymore, and this place like
it's not just I don't know if it's the pandemic, but when immediately after the pandemic happened, maybe it was just all the money that was like kind of flushing the market, but it was every single new restaurant that was opening, everything was like a new build out, and everything was like a new concept, a new super designed bar with like everything was like paired perfectly. It looked great. And like now it's like everyone that's opening up, maybe it is just like, there's less money around, but it's like almost the places that like people like more are the places that you're saying are like kind of more worn in, more homey feeling. And I don't know if that's just like the vibe that people are looking for now, or that's just kind of like the market, but it's like for almost 2-3 years, it was like every place that opened up was like this like super designed, super clean, crisp, area. And now like kind of everything that's opening up, like even like the one that just opened up in Fishtown, Secondhand Ranch, like it's super clean and crisp, but they're going for like worn in Montana Western feel. It's like that's kind of like in right now is like
it's, and I think it's hard to like to own that, to be like so like lean in so hard to a concept, but that's where like and honestly like the brewing game is like you see all the like funny things of like people like making fun of like the classic stool, like the really crappy stool with this small ass spot and, it's like, oh, I can't. And then like on the wall it says like brewery, they kind of make fun of like every brewery ever and like, oh, this
the brewery kit
and I think that's because it was like a bunch of guys that were like and gals that were like, hey, we're just gonna like, we know how to make beer, and so like it's almost like inviting your buddies over, and like the market's like, in my opinion, like not okay with that at all anymore. Like it's wild. I mean, people definitely like want an experience. They want something that feels a little more polished. Like
nobody wants to walk in with like see a giant Jenga set and like these other things that like almost like these cliche things. Like in 2012, 2011, that was like kind of very popular.
Yeah, and it was like groundbreaking too. You're like, oh my god, how big the Jenga is. You know what I mean? And now you're like, great, there's a fucking 8-year-old that's gonna knock it over when I'm like halfway through my beer and scare the shit out of me. It's like
change the size now. They need to make small Jenga.
Yeah, mini Jenga. It's just toothpicks.
Yeah.
It's funky. I mean, we've we just did kind of a little bit of like a change up at the brewery, trying to like change up our seating, kind of put some like loungy areas in. We have like a new concept for our upstairs that's like
upstairs where in Fishtown or in Philly?
No, we have
Lancaster.
Yeah, Lancaster. We have like a mezzanine area that it's like event space.
Okay, cool.
And we only book it like maybe 20 times a year, so it just like burns us, man, on rent. It's just like
it's just there.
Yeah, it just sucks. You're just kind of like when we have an event, you're like, man, that's great. If we could do that like every Saturday, this would be awesome. But it's just like, so we're literally putting in and they call it the tot spot, and we're putting in like a kid area specifically for like families to come up. We have like a massive area rug, and we're putting in like magnet tiles and like Duplo Legos and like craft supplies. So
if you're coming in, kind of separates the people from like one tap room that like don't want to deal with that, and then people that do want to bring their kids can still do it.
Exactly, that's what Otto's like. And we don't. I will say, like I've heard it's such a massive debate that like kids in the brewery thing.
Yeah,
we don't have a problem with it at all. And like me and Rob both have 2 kids. We're family people. In fact, we're very family friendly. Like we already have we have kids menus, we have crayons, we have board games, we have stuff. But if you can like do it a little better and then like pop them upstairs, and then like the 3 of us want to just sit around and like split a basket of fries and like knuckle down 5 beers, maybe play a game. Now there's not the like kids racing around, right? You know what I mean? It's just, it feels like a win to me to be like, let's just go after both. We actually have the space to do it.
100%.
And like my kids are 5 and 7. It's like we kind of missed the mark, or we missed like the time on when they were really little. It's like, oh damn, I wish there was kind of something, because like I still want to just like hang for a beer. I'm not gonna hang for 5 beers in with my kids, but it's like, all right, cool. Like it'd be nice if there was just like something, and there really isn't. So then we just like, do a beer, play Uno with our kids, then we leave. But it's like, we would have a second beer if there was a spot for them to do it. And it's really common in the West Coast. Like, we're in Portland. It was like, there's a bunch of breweries there that had like total fucking kid areas that were like very hippy dippy West Coast, awesome kid areas. It wasn't like McDonald's play place. Like it was like a lot of like manipulative stuff, but like the kids were like totally happy. And there was like fenced in area next to like High Tops. And the parents like, hey, Taylor, make sure you listen to your sister. Okay. And they're sitting there, like, just on their, like, enjoying their flight, having their food. They get the kids something to eat, shove the food in there. And it was like, this is wild. And I didn't think Lancaster was ready for it in 2020, so we didn't do it.
Have you been to Mainstay? They have like a full-on outdoor playground in their indoor brewery.
Get out.
Yeah.
It's like a pirate ship or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Okay.
The old yard house there. They like opened up, so like the tasting area is massive, and then they have like this kind of like fenced in area, and it's like there's always families in there.
Yeah, and I feel like if you do it, the space upstairs is not huge, so it's not going to be chaotic. And also, what we're going to provide is not the huge Jenga, is not a slide, is not, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to provide things that are like literally designed for like baby to like 4-year-old.
So like a tot spot. Do you have tots on your menu? You need to have
So when we did our we kind of changed our whole food program and changed the space. We put on a section of the menu. It's like all tachos, so it's like loaded tots. We've like
nice.
One's like kind of an Asian sweet heat type of deal with like sriracha mayo and stuff. We like buffalo chicken and brisket, smoked brisket, jalapeno kind of thing. So all these tots kind of on the menu, and it was like, oh, it'd be fun to try. So see how it goes. I'll report back.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. It's got to be better than having it just sit up there empty. So
Yeah.
Can you remove it for events, sort of thing?
yeah, so I'm like literally I'm laying it out to be able to like the furniture just be like, all right, cool, like move this, bring the high tops back out, say, because when we do book it, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's usually someone who's getting married at a really fucking like fancy venue the next day. And the groom is like, I just won like buffalo chicken dip and like a couple mugs of beer with my buddies. And you're like, we can totally do that.
It's
So
like,
we've done,
we got you.
yeah, we do like taco bars or like cheesesteak bars. And then just like, yeah, we got beer and wine and what have you. And like, we're good, And so it's usually really casual crowd. So we can just be like, all right, cool. We're going to put away the Legos and pull out the high tops and have it be like a 30-minute quick changeover. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
But I told somebody about it the other day and they were like, it was a couple at the bar. They were like having a quick beer before picking up their kid from daycare. And I was like, hey, was this interest you at all? Because I'm like feeling really like, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, that sounds fucking awesome. Like, they're like, we will be here like multiple times a week. And I was like, okay. They're like, actually, our son turns 3 in February. Would you run it out for his birthday party? And I was like, really? They're like, it's usually so cold, so we can't do parks. We can't do this. Some of the other stuff is just so outrageous. And like, I think maybe he's turning 2. He's like, he's still so young. He doesn't really need a birthday party. We just want
It's the parents' birthday.
Yeah, they're like, we just want to get the family together and be able to buy him a bunch of food and have some beers. I was like, yeah, we can do that. All right. So maybe there's an angle to like do the event thing through the tot spot lens. So I'm like, we'll see. But
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
sick.
I don't know. We'll see. See how it shakes out.
Nice. What's next for Our Town? Like, you guys expanded in Philly, what, 2022? Like you guys went pretty quickly from opening up in Lancaster to then opening up in Philly.
Our tap, it'll be 2 years in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you guys just planning on just staying where you're at now? Can we talk about Stones for a second?
Yeah.
So you guys just partnered with Stones in September
Yep.
to start doing your distribution in Philly?
Yeah. So we had, I've known Liz for a while over there and Nick. And so we were just kind of been like a loose conversation for a little while. And then we're like, this makes some sense. And like, I was always worried more like, we're not really prepped to like handle big orders. And they're like, we would actually love to have you, like just grow this thing like kind of slow and methodical. So I was like, all right. So it's been kind of cool because prior to that, like in order to keep the tap room stocked, it was like, be running down. I couldn't always fill the van. I'll say that. Like, it's like the tap room needs beer. There's 2 new beers sitting in our cooler in Lancaster. I got to get it down here. And so I'd be like, it's got to be a more efficient way. And so that wasn't the only reason, but that's been great. Now, like the last like 4 or 5 times I've been down, like the van is just like busting at the seams, like as much beer as we can bring. Sometimes I'm even like shorting the tap room.
And it's cool that they're in the neighborhood too.
Oh, it's great. They're right there. Yeah. And, and Joe's a full-time sales guy there and he also works for us. So like, and Liz and Nick and the team, they come over for beers afterwards. So like they know the product already really well. So that was kind of nice so there's already kind of that like built-in trust.
I really like the whole team over there is amazing. It's like, like what Nick has built is just like, he kind of like from the beginning started like, everything's very structured. It's clean. It's like, everybody knows their job there. It's really awesome.
Really nice group of people. And the retail shop is amazing.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so well like laid out and thought
It
out.
sucks because even their temporary spot in the Poth Brewery over in Brewtown was so nice, but it's just like it was just a little bit too far out into Brewtown that like, they didn't get as much attention over there. But like that space was beautiful there too.
Yeah, they have their signage and the fonts and it's just
Yeah.
like, sometimes you walk into a beer distributor. I know you do a lot of it. It's like you feel really overwhelmed sometimes. You're like, I don't.
Most of them are exactly the same thing, and like theirs is a little bit different. And it like Stone's has its own brands.
Yeah,
you know, it's almost like a brewery branded quality. You know, with like the merch and kind of like everything that they're pushing and like how they treat the beer and everything. It's great.
Yeah, it's nice, and so that's why it's been really cool, and just really honest about like, hey, what's the best way to approach this? What styles, like because they have some other accounts or they have some other breweries they work with, obviously. So like, I don't want to overload you guys on just hazy IPA. I don't want to overload you on all Czech pills. If you have people that are already like, what's a nice pocket that we can help fill for you guys so your sales team kind of has that extra thing out there, and they're not overwhelmed to be like, oh, we have to sell 30 halves of whatever beer. They're like, we have 2 halves of your, winter lager. Yeah, we can. That's fun for our sales guys to sell. It's like they're like, the cherry on top.
Yeah.
By the way, hey, Our Town has like only 1 or 2 kegs that it just goes down a little. So yeah, it's been really nice. It's kind of really seems to be going well so far. Just there today dropping beer. So
Cool.
yeah, we appreciate them a lot.
Yeah. So anything else for the tap room, or just kind of like keep growing into the 2 markets? You guys are just in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, no, we're small. Yeah, with 10 barrel system, it's just me. we're only selling like 500-600 barrels.
Is it just you brewing?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah,
Busy man.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little crazy. So make it all work. But yeah, no, just try to keep it grooving between the 2 spots and see where Stones can get going and just kind of keep on keeping on. It's a tough market right now for everybody. And so we're just trying to like be creative, and
It's a tough market and nobody wants to hear it, but it had to happen. For a year we were talking about like, this is crazy. There's too many breweries, and it's like, me just saying that's just like, what do you want us to fail? Like, you're anti-business? Like, fuck you. But it's like, there was too many breweries, and there was people doing crazy shit that just like were taking giant reaches of like people that probably shouldn't have been opening breweries, to be honest. And I think that regulations on marijuana will come. They kind of already did. Like, they set a deadline for it at the end of the year. I think that there was just an article in the Inquirer today that Philadelphia and New Jersey are like the biggest market for sports gambling outside of like Vegas or something in New York City.
really,
Because you're allowed to do online sports gambling and online casino gambling on your phone. And there's only like 5 states that allow it, and Pennsylvania and New Jersey are 2 of the only ones that allow it. So there's that. There's the
They stopping that, or
there's the Pennsylvania skill games, and there's just like a lot of gambling that is like just became very unregulated in Pennsylvania very quickly. And I think that in Pennsylvania, a lot of what we're dealing with is issues with like people are just blowing literally all of their income on gambling. And it's not just people are saying like, oh, people don't like beer anymore, people are getting sober. It was I think it was much more marijuana and sports gambling happening all at the same time, and like online dating. But I think like online dating is never going to go away. But I think the weed and the sports gambling are going to have some reckoning with regulation coming in the next several years. And I think it'll kind of even things out. But it just got like so crazy. They both happen at the exact same time. Like 2 things that like are in direct competition basically with people buying beer.
Yeah, it's funky, man. And that's, I tell people all the time too, because like some guys I know that are like, at their taverns, they're like kind of anti even just like carrying NA beer. And I'm like, you don't have to like it, man. But I was like, don't you want people out? I was like, candidly, I don't care if they come in here and buy like a Sprite, like I just think it's important to community to get people sitting around tables and talking and sitting around a bar and just being near each other. Like I just feels like critical to me for like just the fabric of a community. And so if you are walking away from
I'm the anti-NA beer guy, but I just think that there's a better way for our industry to do it than just saying just promoting like, yes, you shouldn't drink, it's unhealthy. Like we could have come up with something else that was like another alternative that wasn't like we know our thing that is the only thing that we sell is bad for you, so we've created something different from it. I think we could have come up with a different product than just like the that something is marketed as the not bad version of what we sell. I think it was just kind of like a short-sighted way to do it.
Yeah, it's funky, and there's so many bad ones. That's
Yes.
I mean, just like I do drink NA beer, and like,
And also,
so many bad ones.
talking about regulation, there's going to be, I think eventually there'll be regulation around the NA beer too, because at some point, I mean, it's a food product, it's not an alcohol product. So either the FDA is going to come in and then want to take over then alcohol sales also, or the TTB or the liquor control boards are going to have to do something where it's like it's separated, or you mandate pasteurization or something. But I think something is going to have to come with regulations for NA beer too.
Yeah, I don't. People have asked me. I'm like, I'm not messing around with that. Are you kidding me? I was like,
You don't make NA beer?
no, I'm afraid to. I'm like, I'm not messing around with it.
Do you ever make like fruited sours or anything like that? Because that was kind of the same thing where it was just like unpasteurized like fruit bombs. I'm like, it has alcohol in it, so it's not like dangerous, but like it's still like it's a risk.
Just use a shit ton of potassium sorbate.
Yeah. I mean, the wine industry has been doing it forever, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else you want to promote? And also, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, it's just Our Town Brewery on Instagram and Facebook.
Do you have a separate one for the Philly tap room?
Yeah, we have a separate Instagram. We don't have Facebook for the tap room.
Is it just Our Town Philly?
Yep, Our Town Tap Room Philly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, especially with like given the neighborhood and the crowd is just like,
You don't need a Facebook for.
they don't need the book face there. Yeah. Yeah, just I don't know. It's just not. It's really funny when you see the breakdowns of like the age demos on like interactions and engagements with Facebook versus. I can even tell like, oh, we posted something like this is gonna hammer on Instagram and get no love on Facebook because of just like who it's after.
Dude, no love, but Brews in PA still kills it. I'm on Facebook Marketplace all the time, and there's still like private groups that just like, if you are getting attention in some private group in Facebook, like there are, like rabid fans.
Yeah, so for that
Facebook
for sure. Yeah, there's a couple like takeout and restaurant groups stuff like that, and it's always like kind of search through the 97 comments like, oh cool, somebody told them to go hard.
Yeah. But I don't update. My Facebook is just if stuff gets posted on my Instagram, just like it's auto-fed. Like I'm not like they're curating or anything.
Yeah. But it's Our Town Brewery on both the Our Town Tap Room Philly for the tap room, and just keep going out and having beers or whatever the hell you want to have. Just go out,
your local brewery.
Yeah, go out and just sit around a bar with your buddies.
Sweet, awesome. Thank you for coming on. This was very fun. Long
Thanks for having me.
And then you can find us at BrewDad at the BrewDad Podcast. Check out the Beer Accountant, our sponsor.
Thank you to Pat.
Or
5
some
stars on Spotify, any sort of socials. Also, take a guess on how many times we've talked about the NA rants. This is great.
Well, it's a running count, so
I know. I'm curious.
Infinite.
And text Richie that.
Yeah.
Comment on Space Cadet.
Cool, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.